Again, we really appreciate having everyone here today. It's great to see so many different faces, from vendors to university partners, international partners, and everything in between. So thank you for weathering the weather and coming out here today. So again, my name is Locky Catron. I'm a recent graduate of Iowa State University, right in the heart of Big Ag. So the question is, how did I end up in Fife, Alabama, working on the Oggún tractor, the polar opposite of Big Ag? Well, it really comes down to one word, and that's passion. A passion for finding solutions to the global food supply problem. So in working in the heartland with large agribusiness and also abroad, it became very clear that the answer was not going to come from just producing more grain. That was not going to solve the problems that we are facing. The answer comes down to this: ensuring that small farmers can be profitable and independent, ensuring that people have access to local food, and creating a foundation for others to be able to follow their passion. And that's what we're doing right here in Fife, Alabama. So as you heard from Saul and Horace, this all started with Cuba. But in the process of understanding how to solve problems for Cuba, we realized that we really solved a global problem. What we learned from Cuba was that for 80% of the world's farmers to be able to afford a tractor when they currently can't, they must be locally manufactured and they must be designed with an open system. So CleBer's approach really is very simple. We didn't just design a tractor, but we designed a way of thinking about how to solve problems. And so our model really does require a very different approach. It requires everyone involved to focus on the value they bring rather than on the price they charge. It requires everyone to make decisions that benefit the customer. The customer is our only stakeholder. It requires the design process to revolve around an open system rather than proprietary control. Now, we keep talking about open systems, but what exactly does that mean? So yes, it's designing equipment with off-the-shelf available parts, but open system really extends beyond any one product. So in order to truly address the problem of expensive equipment and technology that never reaches the small farms, we must replicate the model that we've seen in open source software, learning much from what Saul and Horace have already done in previous businesses. It was the creation of standard computing architectures and interfaces that evolved the world into one where every person in this room right now is holding one of the 7 billion cell phones that exist on the planet. By implementing standard architectures, anyone has the opportunity to innovate because they have a foundation to build from. The more interoperable a machine, the more widely it's used, and the lower the cost. So just like the price of a cell phone decreases every year because standards allow for more rapid and efficient innovation, we believe that the price of our Oggún tractor in the developing world can go from $10,000 to $5,000 in 5 years. It is not us, however, that should be the managers of such standard specifications. We believe that these standards would be best managed by the organizations that do not necessarily gain financially from this, but really see the social benefit in it. The ideal situation would be for a major NGO to manage and head up the standards and have the technical body be made up of engineering departments from around the world. And this body would take their input from the small farmers around the world. The closer you are to the problems, the better you can actually solve the problems. That's the larger context of our goals. The other portion is, how do we implement this open system within our own company? So like I said, we approach business differently. So think about it. The business model we've all become accustomed to is one that's vertical. It's focused on locking in market share, and eventually it leaves out the whole bottom portion of the market. So we believe that the only way to reach this underserved market is to actually squash that vertically integrated model into one that's horizontal. So think of our small company CleBer as part of a larger virtual corporation, where every member of the virtual corporation brings value back to the customer. So today you'll have the chance to hear from several of our virtual corporation partners and hear how they've been helping us to get to the point that we are today and they will definitely be a big part of our future projects that we work on. And we believe that if we all are listening to the customer and doing what's right for the customer, that every organization involved will benefit way more than before. But most importantly, we realize that the only way to achieve our goals of reaching this underserved market is to push the manufacturing into each country or each region, so the products can be customized and the price eventually lowered. The players in this virtual corporation all believe in the open system model, where designs are published, components are interchangeable, and interfaces are standard. Our goal is not to provide a product that solves all the problems for every customer. That's impossible. But our goal is to provide an affordable foundation that allows people that, again, are closest to the problems to be able to come up with and innovate unique solutions to solve those problems. And so that's where we're headed. We're headed to a world where small farmers are an important part of the market, where high-tech agriculture is accessible, and where solutions are created locally. So again, it's not just a tractor, it's a way of thinking. So now I'll turn it over to Jeff, and he's going to discuss our efforts to ignite these local economies around the globe.